Hey. Time for another Out of This World episode from our space. Hell is empty, and all the devils are here. Today in our space, we play with fire. If there's a scenic route to hell, our first OP found it. My story. To hell and back. We were married in 2000, had 2 kids, and lived a generally happy life of a working couple. She had a cheating episode right after our marriage, but we had reconciled and moved on. A few years ago, her interest in a relationship started tapering down. Whenever I brought it up, she'd attribute it to her work and the responsibilities of the kids. She'd shower some extra attention for a few days, and we move on. The D-Day was Valentine's Day in 2020. We had planned to cook together at home. When I returned home from work that day, she wasn't there. I checked her location on Find My on iPhone, and she was at her favorite restaurant. She returned home drunk later and passed out. I checked her phone and found messages between her and the affair partner. We had shared our respective passcodes with one another. However, she had been very diligent about physically guarding her phone and deleting all their communication right away. But she missed the last few on account of being drunk. Also, it was the first time in years she left her phone unattended. Otherwise, it went everywhere with her, even the shower. She had been sleeping with her phone under the pillow for the past few years. And now I have the confirmation of the affair and the identity of the affair partner who was, and still is, a colleague of hers. He's married too. I chose not to confront the wayward spouse right away. I'd been developing a growing awareness that she was becoming a masterful and smooth liar. Anytime she needed to explain her whereabouts, she would come up with a perfectly plausible excuse at the spur of the moment. I wasn't expecting anything out of confronting her other than being buried with 1,000 lies, such as it being a harmless flirtation or just a quick one-time indiscretion. I needed to know the depth of her affair. I instinctively knew it pretty much at this point, but I wanted solid data. I hired a private investigator and put some security cameras outside my home to see who was coming and going. The PI obtained the security footage at her favorite restaurant going back over a year. Many times, I was able to overhear her talking on her phone at home when she didn't think I was around or within earshot. The information came into a fire hose. Their affair had been going on for 3.5 years at this point. Wayward spouse and affair partner had been privately gloating about being able to keep it a secret from their respective spouses for this long. Their prevailing sentiment was if their respective spouses hadn't discovered the truth, everything, including the very affair, had to be their own fault. More details kept coming. Her penchant for unprotected sex, her pregnancy by affair partner and abortion, their home visits during lunch for hours of sex, phone sex when they couldn't meet, and dissing everyone around them. I was shocked by how thoroughly contemptuous she was towards even those of her friends who absolutely adored her. And she has such a plant-sized network of them. Except for her brother, parents, and 2 kids, this woman has nothing other than contempt towards every single human being. I've always known her to use superficial charm to get validation, companionship, get her way, or just influence friends to behave to her liking. I was still shell-shocked by discovering the real her, as my understanding of a narcissistic personality was very shallow at the time. The PI gave me names of other affairs she'd had, or was still carrying on. She also slept with her boss among others, as an example. Just when I thought it had to be all there was, little did I know there was a plot twist in the offing. The communications between her and affair partner started referring to killing certain somebody by poisoning their food. She suddenly developed a recent penchant for making food for me, even though we had not been talking for weeks at this time. At the first reference of killing, I stopped consuming anything she cooked for me. I only ate the food intended for the whole family, and even then I wouldn't consume it if everyone else had already taken their share. The first reference to killing was so subtle that it was almost an animal instinct on my part to take such precautions. I felt I was being silly and paranoid. However, their subtlety soon went out of the window as their frustration mounted and their discussions descended into inflamed arguments. Affair partner was urging her to kill me ASAP, and she was frustrated because, in her own words, how can I add poison to the whole food? I immediately canceled my life insurance. My mental health had been tapering down for a while, and I was struggling to maintain my sanity. Nothing more was to be gained by staying the course. So, for the first time in months, I spoke to her. I told her that it was time to start planning for our divorce and that I knew about her and the affair partner. I gave her 4 or 5 quick examples of things that she couldn't believe in her wildest dreams that anyone other than the affair partner and she could have possibly known. I concluded with the assertion that my decision for divorce was 100% final. Moments into the conversation, her eyes went wide and her jaw hit the floor. The whole speech took about 2 minutes, and that was the end of a 20-year relationship. Prologue. It's been 22 months since the D-Day, and 10 since the divorce is fully finalized. My daughter lives with me half the time, and my son lives with my ex-wife full-time. My son had discovered about their affair on his own, as he has been to her work and seen them acting extremely familiar with each other. Post-divorce, he asked me if his hunch of the affair was true. I confirmed it, but made sure not to add anything more. He spilled the beans about the affair to my daughter, too. Child support is pretty punishing in the state I live in, and despite making a six-figure salary, I'm living on what's essentially poverty wages. I focus on physical and mental health, had 2 brief relationships since the divorce, and hope to land a long-term partner. Every morning I wake up and realize I'm alive and sane. My mind gets filled with serenity. I'm at peace for the world for the first time in ages. Holy cow, OP. I'm so glad you were able to get out of that alive. I'm so sorry you experienced such an extreme situation. I'm actually shocked that you're allowing your children to still see their mother given the circumstances. She seems unhinged and dangerous. Watch your back. Although she is leaving you alone now, that may change in the future. Narcissists will go silent or absent after a divorce when someone else is captivated by them and is supplying their insatiable need for attention. This is a good time to breathe and regather strength. Eventually, when the relationship that is taking up all of their time sours, the narcissist will double up their focus on their ex-spouse, aka you, OP. In the meantime, as best as possible, try to reduce the number of face-to-face interactions. If they are needed, do this with another person present or in a neutral environment such as a coffee shop. The more engagement with a narcissist, the more they want, and this defeats the purpose of a divorce. The community asked a question from FJMJ 1980. What about the affair partner's wife? She may now be the one in danger. The OP replies, so far, she has shunned all communication from me. Most likely my ex-wife and affair partner have told her that she divorced me because I'm crazy and advised her to avoid me. Big Ed Cactus Head has something to say. The communications between her and affair partner started referring to killing certain somebody by poisoning their food. Are you going to report this to the police? It's not conclusive proof of anything, but it is evidence worthy of an investigation. The OP replies, the evidence is not admissible in court. We don't live together anymore and I'm not in danger. My main concern is what kind of impact it might have on the kids if the murder plot, becomes a piece of public knowledge. As it is, the divorce has been very hard on the kids. Banitich responds back, the evidence that you obtained might not be admissible in court, but your lawyer should have involved law enforcement as soon as you knew about the plot. They would have helped you in securing a warrant. Now the guy's complaining to be living on poverty wage where you could have gotten those guys in jail, gotten full custody, etc. Facepalm. This has to be fan fiction. The OP replies, please. I did consult the lawyer. I was told talking about killing someone is not a crime, only if they're caught taking an action on it. Also, know what I said about its effect on the kids. Accomplished Milk 816 chimes in. So your son knows your mom cheated and wanted to kill you, but wants to live with his mother? The OP replies, my son only knows of one affair and nothing else. He's always been close to his mom and chose to stay with her post-divorce. In divorce court, teenagers get 100% say in this matter. I haven't told him about anything else, as it might devastate him. Irrespective of her merits as a wife and partner, my ex-wife is a good mother. The next response from Night Ravaged 50s Lady. Wow, so happy you are free. Even if life circumstances are challenging, you are focused on the right things. I am 7 years post accidentally finding a text on my ex's phone and eventually uncovering years of lying, cheating, and essentially living a secret life, while I played dutiful, working supermom. After the worst of the trauma wore off, I had this overwhelming feeling. I was living my life and not a pawn in someone else's web of lies. He stole 11 years of my life, but I got my future back. Keep moving forward. There's only good things ahead. The OP responds, your experience and thoughts so resonate with me. I'm glad to have the love of my kids and an optimistic future. If nothing else, this experience has given me a gift of resiliency. I'm happy for you that you're past your trauma and have your future back. I think this can be a rallying cry for all the cheated ones. Own the future. Accomplished Milk 816 is back again for another comment. Wait, did she admit wanting to murder you? Do your kids know that? Did you tell the affair partner's spouse? Did your wife want to keep the marriage? The OP responds, I confronted her with the evidence and she stayed silent and shocked to disbelief. My kids don't know that and I haven't told them. She wanted to keep the marriage, but I didn't. File update from OP. It's been over 2 years since the D-Day. I've recovered from the depths of hell and am in a relationship at this time. Not everything is perfect, but overall things are good and optimistic. When I was at my nadir right after the D-Day, I used to read these lines, sometimes aloud, that I had jotted down for myself. I'm leaving it here in case it might help someone else. I'll be leaving this sub soon, and I wish all the best to all current and future people in recovery. I'll be dignified. I'll never indulge in self-pity. I'll never blame myself. I'll be the best dad to my kids. I'll never be anyone's second choice. I'll never trust her. I'll live a good life. Wow, I love this for you, OP. Thank you so much for sharing these beautiful and inspiring words. As you well know, leaving a narcissist doesn't always end with simply physically leaving, packing up your belongings, and building a new life. You need to have a present and future to look forward to. You need to learn to reclaim the things you loved and the parts of you that were wrestled away from you during the relationship. Your goals must sync with creating strong foundations in who you are and across different aspects of your life, such as your body and health, mind, relationships, money, and career. Bad things happen in life, but they don't last forever. You've done so well at building a strong foundation, OP. You are actively growing and practicing resilience. You're doing so well, OP. Keep up the great work. Our next OP received a message from beyond. Divine Intervention Pocket Dial. This is all so fresh. I don't even honestly know why I'm posting this yet. I'm completely broken. I just need to vent and maybe get some advice, I guess. I don't really have anyone to turn to because the person I dedicated my life to betrayed me. I've been in a relationship with my wife, that even hurts to say, for 10 years, married since last September, 4-year-old son. I've been sick with COVID the last week, so I had to stay home from a concert that we were planning on going to on Saturday. She still went with her friends. On her way to the show, I get a call from her. After a short moment, it was obvious it was a pocket dial and not intentional. I overheard her talking to her friends about cheating on me. It was a long call before she noticed what had happened. My initial thought was that the pocket dial was intentional. And this was her stupid way of telling me because she couldn't say it to my face. I'm still uncertain if that was the intention or if it was just karma. She says it was unintentional, but I don't know what to believe anymore. I have talked to her a bit, but it is difficult. I'm completely broken and can barely function. I haven't eaten in 2 days. I got a six-pack after almost 3 years of sobriety. The only person I have told is my boss, who is really more of my friend than anything. He gave me a hug and sent me home, telling me not to worry about using vacation time. Just do what I need to do and get my head on straight. She has said in the past that I do not give her enough attention. In my defense, I work nearly 6 hours a week, cook dinner every night, while having my son attached to my hip anytime I am home. I try to give her as much attention as I can, but I guess it is not enough. I asked her what she wanted, a family or to be single. She says she wants a family, but I don't know if I believe it. She says she has only talked to this guy for about a month and only met with him once. She met him through work. Here's where it gets even more interesting. She's currently a bartender at a bikini bar. It is a no-nudity strip club, but still pretty janky. She has stripped in the past, but since having our kid, she has only bartended. The money is good, but I have made it known that I was uncomfortable with it and did not want her child growing up knowing that his mom worked in a strip club. I think the main reason she likes working there is to get swooned over and hit on. She just likes the attention, I believe. I don't know if this has happened to privacy or if this is truly the first time. I ordered a paternity test that is arriving today. I love my child and would still take care of him, but I need to know if he is truly mine. I don't know what is what anymore. Is that out of line? I love her and what we have built together, but I can't even look at her right now. I don't know what to do. My gut just tells me to call it quits, but my heart tells me to try and make it work. Eek. I'm so sorry, OP. It's super distressing to discover that your partner is having or has had an affair. Give yourself some time. Finding out such shocking news can leave you feeling angry and hurt. Seek support from trusted friends, family members, or talk to a trained counselor. Once you have established the facts, if your partner resolves to end the affair and recommit to your relationship, be slow to judge. You'll need to reflect on whether you're able to forgive the breach of trust, and you may not yet have all the information with which to make that decision. Only after talking and establishing the reasons for the affair will you be able to decide. You can, however, say that you're willing to work with your partner and to try to understand why this has happened. At this point, you may find it helpful to talk to a counselor who can work with you both to determine your next steps. Enough from me. Out of the community. Poll Clock 2565 says, due to someone who has dated multiple strippers in the past, there is a reason you don't marry them. Hell, I spent a weekend with one I met 6 months ago on a trip out of town. She came down to my area a couple weeks later. Hence why she gave me her number and why we were talking. We both knew what it was and had a great weekend, but that's all it was. She will never not need validation and attention. She will not stop in the future. What she meant by I want a family is I want the stability of a babysitter and someone who cooks for me and pays the bills, but still able to cheat on you and will be better at hiding it from now on. Listen to your gut. It's there to guide us when our hearts get in the way. Mr. Big Bull 01 has the next extensive thought. I OP. Sorry if this is happening to you. I think your heart is in this case not giving you good advice. I think you need logic. If she really thought cheating was wrong, she would not have told anyone. By telling the friends, it shows she hasn't any remorse. It shows she doesn't have any problem cheating on you, and now she's blaming you for it. Let me tell you, there is never a reason to cheat. Really never. If she was so unhappy, she could have divorced you. She could have talked more about the unhappiness. And if, after a while, she does not see any progress, file for divorce. But cheating is never an option. There is never a reason to cheat. The reason she is telling this is to move away from the fact it was her fault alone. She does not want to take the blame and not take on the responsibility. But let me tell you, it is all 100% on her. She's not trying to solve all this. She will be trying to make you stay. Why? Because you are her home base. You provide, you take care of the kid, you cook. How on earth is she going to hook up with guys if she needs to clean the house, cook, take care of the kid? No, for her, it would be better if someone does it for her. And what does only talk to this guy for about a month and only met with him once mean? Should that make it less hurtful or not that bad? The fact that she talked to her friends about this means she planned it all along. It was not a mistake. It is never a mistake, but a clear decision to do this. And she is not sorry at all. She's only sorry you caught her. Be ready to be love-bombed. Be ready she will downplay it. Be ready she will try to put the blame on you. Partially, I wouldn't fool him for all of this. I would start to ignore her, only talk to her about the kid, nothing else. Completely ignore her for the rest. I would go talk to a lawyer and drop the papers and have her serve. What you do is up to you. The question you need to answer is if you want to live with someone who can so easily betray you, has no remorse about it, and is not sorry at all. Take care, Mr. Big Bull. Thank you for joining us today in our space. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss your next video. Let us know what you thought of today's content in the comments below. Until next time.